Welcome to Ember Igniters, the podcast that sets your soul ablaze. I'm Fran here with Jenna Wilmers, and we are your Ember Igniters. Jenna, when I was little, I liked to imagine things. How about you?
Yes.
Yeah,
all the time.
so all the time, right? Lot of fun. Well, I like to imagine being a flight attendant. Only back then they didn't call them flight attendants; they called them stewardesses.
Ooh la la.
And the reason for that was, there just weren't a lot of men in the field back then. And so they had women who were just dressed to the nines. They had little suits with little skirts, and they didn't wear pants. I mean, that would have been a faux pas.
Didn't they all have like their hair every single little hair was like in place. Like pristine.
And the reason was they used them in commercials, in TV.
That's right.
They would have them come on. And I mean, it was one of those things that little girls would say, when I grow up, I want to be a flight attendant or stewardess. And sometimes those commercials included things like cigarettes. I know it sounds kind of strange because we don't see that today, but it evoked this image that I just imagined myself being one. Well, maybe some people think that's just pretend, but it really was more than that. I just saw myself as a stewardess, not just pretending to be one, but actually being one. Well, today's episode, we're going to talk about imagination. Is it real or is it pretend?
That's right. Well, let's take a look at the definition. So imagination really means that it's the process of forming that
That's right.
image in your mind.
In your mind, yeah.
But some people think that, you're just having a vision because they confuse the two.
Mm-hmm.
But the vision is actually when your imagination actually produces
There you go.
the image in your mind. And then to take it a step further, because of imagination and pretending is when you take that vision of what you've been thinking and actually act it out. So like the little girls when they get those little princess dresses.
Yeah, exactly that.
And dress up and, click around the house in their little high heels.
I know,
and
I love
whatnot, and pretend to be princesses. That's the pretending portion of it. And we all imagine our lives, but few of us dare to actually create it.
And I think that's a great point. I mean, my story kind of illustrates that, doesn't it? I mean, I honestly believe I saw myself like that. I was going to be that one day. Well, one of the things about imagination is, like we said, it really is, what do we do with it? What does it produce, right, in us? And so thinking on that, we discovered through our own selves and also just based on some of the things that we're learning that there's both a flip side. It's positive, or it can sometimes be a negative.
It can.
I like the positive side of things much better.
Same.
So because we all use our imagination, but it's unfortunately that some people don't use it and they find it to be a negative thing instead. And so imagination can actually spark what our perception of our world and life can look like.
It can.
And so the part about that is that we don't realize. I mean, I recently read a book where the person made the comment that everything that goes through our mind or imagination, we filter it. We filter it by what can we do or
what we think we can do.
That's right. Or even things like maybe we've been treated a certain way, and so now that's the filter that we're seeing everything through, because imagination is seeing things, right, in your mind's eye. Or the whole concept of it just being like, even if I filter it as a positive or if I filter it as a negative, it's a direct thing in how we're going to see our world or what we see ourselves. I saw myself like that, just being that little person. So if you are, unfortunately, thinking in your imagination, it really does start to direct your future. It really does. It can, if it's negative, limit you, where you don't see yourself doing positive things. But when you can see the positive side, it really gives you impetus to move forward.
And I just want to add, I know that sometimes when we're doing these podcasts, we sit here and we say things to you and we share things that
Yeah.
we've actually gone through. And you know how a lot of people will say, well, it's easy to say it, but really it's do it.
That's true.
It's easy for us to say it now because we've been through it, but we would really challenge you to do your own research and really understand exactly what, Fran has been explaining about how your imagination really is tied to everything in your life.
It really, truly is. I mean, I love the positive aspects, but then you have to be really real about the fact that some of us have had very negative things said to us, like, I'm never going to measure up. You're just never going to be anything.
Yeah.
So what does your mind do? It hears that. And then it says, well, I'm nothing, so I don't see myself. Whereas other people, they maybe have encouragement, maybe they have means, varying things in life. And they're like, I can do anything. Yeah. And we want you to know you can do anything. Imagination is a powerful, powerful tool.
Mm-hmm. And if you don't use it in the proper way, if you decide to play those negative soundtracks, it really can lead to depression.
And that's a big thing today, isn't it? Maybe you're struggling with that even today.
Yeah. And even though depression, it can feel heavy, but we want you to know that through your imagination, you can actually overcome it.
Yeah.
So you might not think that you can see a future or a better future for yourself because you're playing that soundtrack in your mind of like, I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. They'll never pick me. My boss always passes me up for that promotion, that sort of thing. So let's try something. So if I were to say the word car to you, you probably in your mind see a picture of a car. You don't actually see the letters C-A-R, right?
Right. I don't.
Okay. So now let's take it a step further. What if I were to say, okay, picture a car that's yellow, Corvette. The picture changes, right?
Yeah.
So you, by the things that you're saying to yourself, can change the picture. So you have the power to change the picture of your imagination by what you're saying to yourself. So up until now, you may have allowed the governor, you know.
She's saying that word, but honestly, I did not know what that meant.
Yeah, so there's a governor on the car. And for those of you who don't know, in the United States, a governor is placed on every vehicle, and it makes it so that your vehicle can only get to a certain speed. So you'll hear some people say, well, my car tops out at, 115 or whatever. But that's the maximum that the governor will allow it to go. And so you may have allowed your imagination to act as a governor for you and only take you so far.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
And, when they say if you put your mind to it, you can do it. Well, you have to picture it, believe it, and you will achieve it. Picture it, believe it, and you will achieve it. And it all starts in your imagination.
I kind of get excited about that thought. No one said to me, if you picture it and if you believe it, you can achieve it. We all come out of different environments and home places. And so I just want you to recognize that what Jenna did with the car example, it did change the picture, right? If you think about it, it really did. So what we're kind of warning you about is that it really has to be a rebooting of your mind or a reshaping in your mind. Mm-hmm. And part of that means you personally have to want something different. So you're going to have to choose to change. And that can happen. I kind of like the idea that when you make a decision, right, you have to own it. If you do nothing, well, nothing happens. It's kind of like wheels that just continue and continue to spin over and over again, sort of like the hamster on their little wheel. But you have the choice. And I think it's important that we remember that we have choices. So we can do things like erase the picture and embrace your imagination to change the trajectory of your life. I mean, think about it. Erase the picture, the negative picture, replace it with a positive, and then, gosh, you can embrace your imagination to change the trajectory of your life. It's wow. Who wouldn't want that? I want that. Well, that's it for this episode. Just a reminder, mark your calendars for the second Wednesday of every month because we're releasing new podcasts. And then also, we're going to be diving into another series on how do you capture your thoughts and take hold of them? I want to know the answer to that question. Your stories really do inspire us, and we're very excited to also have you share them with us by visiting the testimonials part of our website. And also, we don't want you to miss out on the fact that we do some devotional series that comes out every Tuesday and Thursday, and they're called Sparks of Wisdom. So look for those. So we really want to lift you up in prayer. If you're in need of spiritual support, or visit our website, click on that Connect tab, and then the Prayer tab, and we'll find you there to pray for you.
We would also be honored if you would consider joining our Spark Seeker community by subscribing to this podcast and sharing it with your friends and letting them know how it helped you. You can find us on all major platforms. You can also catch us on social media, YouTube, and our website, sparklightministry.com. Thanks for tuning in.
So ignite your life.
Now go out and set the world on fire.